Congratulations, Cherry Hill teachers. You have been identified as the Park Test Administrator. I am here today for your training. I am Dr. Karen Russo to go over what it would look like the day of testing as a test administrator. So I'm first starting off with your checklist that you will see in your test administrator manual for the day of testing. So if you take a look at the first box, it says receive test materials from school test coordinator and track receipt using the computer-based chain of custody form. For those of you using paper-based, you will have one that says paper-based chain of custody form. And this helps track all the materials. We have seen this before, we have done this before. This is a regular routine that we've done for NJS, for HESPA, all the tests that we have given in the Cherry Hill District. So that is nothing new. What is new that I'm going to focus on more in depth is the second box. Manage test sessions and review each student's status in PearsonAccessNext. And I'm going to explain how you would log in, start sessions, resume students, and exit the test. So if we take a look at this website, PearsonAccessNext.com, this is the one that you saw for your infrastructure trial. This is the one you can use up to February 23rd to allow any grades to see what it will look like the day of the test. This is just the training. You'll know because it says training, Pearson Access Next, and it's the brown bar. In March, when you really test your students, you will see PearsonAccessNext.com, and it has a blue bar. This is how you know that you're in the live site. I will refer back to this, however, I'm going to stay on the training site so I don't mess up anyone's sessions now that this is live and that we can get in to see our real data and our students that will be in our groups. So let me explain the top of this website first. If you see it says Spring Performance-Based Assessment, when you take this in April and May, it will say Spring End of Year EOY 2015. You will also see your district name and or your school name up top. And then there is your little person, so you would be able to click on it and sign out, which we don't want to do right now. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to get to your students. So let's pretend this is a live site. You would still go to testing. You would go to students and sessions. You would go to the session list and you would start typing in the name that your school test coordinator assigned you. So I'm going to look for my fake name that I created, and there it is. Along with needing to know what your session name is, you will also receive, when you're signing your chain of custody form, when you go to your school testing coordinator's office or room, is you will receive a testing ticket for each student, and you will also receive a seal code. If you are testing the whole week, you will have a total of 5 seal codes. So this is what a seal code looks like. So let's just say that I am only testing English Language Arts for Unit 1, 2, and 3. So I'm given 3 different seal codes. How is this comparable to the NJS? Well, the NJS students would have their booklets and they would get a ruler or a pencil and they would break the seal on the right hand side. So this is pretty similar, so everything is staying secure. So you will get 1 seal code per day from your school test coordinator that would be printed out. Because our district only opted to take 1 unit at a time, you will only receive 1 seal code at a time. And then this is what your student testing ticket will look like as well for each student. Make sure that you count them, so if you have 26 students, you should have 26 testing tickets. You should also have 26 testing tickets when you return them to your school testing coordinator when you are completed with the unit for the day. So once you signed in to Pearson Access Next as a testing administrator and you found your session name, you would hit start. So then in your script it guides students to sign in. So what they would do is they would take their username and they would type that in, and this is what they would see on the screen, and then they would type in their password in this second box and then hit sign in. But in your manual it does state that they need to test their audio prior to signing in, so please make sure you follow that manual because it says test audio, because they're going to raise the volume to what is at their comfort level, and once they do that, they can't go back throughout the test to make it higher or lower. So please make sure you read that with them and make sure they test the audio before they sign in. Now, if a student signs in and they see this error code, it's quite possibly because when you go back to the website, you did not hit the green start button. I know that I'm okay and my students are ready to sign in because I don't see a start here. So if you have all your students raise their hand and say they have an error code, just check and make sure that you hit the start button. Once students sign in, they will see this interface, very similar to what they saw for the practice test on park.pearson.com. You would read the direction to them from your script, and then they would hit Start Test Now. If you take a look from my screenshot, there is nothing that they can click in or out of this. There's no Internet Explorer, no Microsoft Word. The test nav takes over the entire computer, so the only thing that they could do is click on their name and hit log out. So there's nothing else that they can do once they have signed in. After they hit Start Test Now, then they will see the interface of their test, just like the practice test. The directions of what they're going to do for the unit is always up top. Then they have their passage, which they would scroll to see all the paragraphs. Here's question 1, part A and B, and then they would use the blue button to get to the next page. They can also review and flag their questions, eliminate their answers. Up here they can use the line reader, the magnifier, but remember we were encouraging them to hit Control plus to make the screen bigger or Control minus to get it back to normal. And remember, the students will also have blank paper to write any notes and to use it for their writing organizer. And then for math, they'd have blank paper and or graph paper to work out their math problems. So then I wanted to show you, and remember, students cannot get any help on the toolbar features during testing. That's stated in your manual. You cannot do that. That's why we've been talking about this since October, that students need to get onto the practice test to see what the tools are and which ones they prefer. So then as the students are taking the test, if they are completely finished, the only thing that they can hit is log out of test nav. So when they're done Unit 1 ELA, they'll log out, Unit 2 ELA log out, Unit 3 ELA log out. Now in your trial, I heard that some people said that they would mark the student complete. We are not marking the students complete as test administrators. All we have to make sure is after students are done checking the work, they hit where it says their name, the drop down, and log out of test nav. The school test coordinator will mark the student complete after they finish for the whole week. So you do not need to worry about that. They all log out and then they're done. Okay, so now that you have all of your students that are logged into the system, you would see that they would turn from ready to active, the green active. Ready means that you hit start, they had logged in, and then they will move to active. If a student is exited, that means by accident they might have hit log out. They do not need to log out when they are going to the bathroom or taking their 3-minute stretch and stand break. They do not need to log out. If you have students with extended time and they are breaking for lunch, then please have them go to the top and log out. But let's just say, for example, a student does exit their test by accident and you need to get... So if that student does log out, you would see that they're exited. So I have one student that's exited. So I'm going to click on the left-hand side of the box. I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to hit Select Tasks and Resume Student Test. I'm going to hit Start. I'm going to click on that student name again. Yes, it seems a little bit redundant, but we're making sure it's the same student. We're hitting Resume. And then exit tasks. Now the student is resumed. And it even says it right there. So I also wanted to show you, not sure why you would need to know this, but if you were to click on the student's status, you can see exactly what question they're on. It does 3 at a time. So if you don't see anything pop up to see how many questions they have completed, just hit the refresh button. But if you click on a student's name, their ready status, and you see what questions they've completed or not completed, you're only able to do this for one student. So if you're testing in a large group setting, it's really not that beneficial, but I just wanted to show you that it is there, so it's not a surprise on the day of testing in March. And that is all you need to know as a testing administrator. Not as complicated as we need to make it be. Just remember that your students will go from ready to active. If they're exited, you just resume them, and then the students log back in. To go back to your manual, your other duties are to distribute test materials, have them log out, keep time, and supervise test administration. We've been doing this for many, many years for Park. Best of luck.